Hello, everyone. This is ElijahBmanWeather, and today we have a lot to talk about. So, if you see this big system here out at sea, this is looking off the Oregon coast. See this system undergoing cyclogenesis, and you can really see it really expand here. Let's take another look. So, if we kind of see, this is the European model. This is the pressure. Right now, it's at 970 millibars or so, and you can see, wow, this thing is a monster. It drops it down to 941 millibars of minimum pressure. For instance, that's about a Category 3 hurricane sometimes. So, yeah. So, we're going to be grateful that this thing is really out to ocean. And you can kind of see this thing weaken as we go on. And another parent low coming up, and that might also have wind potential if that gets closer to Nia Bay here, which is over by the Olympics. That would be a big windstorm event if we get gap winds coming out of the Strait of Juan de Fuca right there. But let's take a look at the GFS here. You can see it really deepens down to it. This one has a 942 millibars. And yeah, it also doesn't help that we have a big ridge of high pressure. We got winds blowing right off of Alaska too. Some cold air following behind it. Yeah, it's big. This is a difference of 107 millibars of pressure between this low and that Arctic high up there. So yeah. Now, if we take a look at the precipitation rates, if you look at the thickness, and then bam, right there, 941. You got this big atmospheric river stirring up to Northern California, Southern Oregon. We will take another look at that very shortly. If you stick around, you can see this thing kind of swirl off the coast and it will slowly die, spreading a lot of rain. On the southern end, it would have this big atmospheric river, and yeah, even more precipitation coming from the Pacific Northwest, mountain snow. It would be way too warm for lowland snow, obviously, but it would be some interesting pattern. You can kind of see it would also spread some snow to the interior, which that would be good for them. But yeah, and if we take a look at wind gusts, you can see here we got a big area of 170 kilometer an hour wind gusts there. 150 is the gray. We got widespread 100 plus kilometer an hour gusts showing up, and at times, this could reach the coast of Oregon, Washington, Northern California, and Vancouver Island. So we have a big system here. If you are on the coast, I would definitely watch out, but I wouldn't be extremely worried because the worst of it will stay offshore. Now, if we look, let's take a closer look here. This is max, sorry, max accumulated wind gusts. So if we kind of scroll out here, the lower mainland might be saved. You can see along western Vancouver Island, 100-kilometer gusts just showing up right offshore. You can see some gap winds up here in the Cascades, some down-sloping winds, and as well as some winds up higher elevations, and an eastern Vancouver Island wind event too, as winds kind of race right southeast out of the strait up towards the low pressure as it kind of steers north. Now, let's actually go back. Let's take a look at our rainfall just for the area. Let's kind of zoom in here. So yeah, we had a bit of rain today, and then yeah, there it is. Some good rain, decent rainfall. Not a ton, not a rainstorm. This is not really a big event for Metro Vancouver. You can kind of see there some rain showing up there for sure. So if we look at the NAM 3KM, this is a higher resolution model. This really tells us more about what could happen. So we have the NAM 3KM kind of rolling out, and it is more wind. You got along the Cascade Mountains here some ridge, like kind of like some sort of ridge there, like a wind there along some higher elevation winds. Downsloping winds are also possible. Bit of winds coming out of the Juan de Fuca Strait as they kind of chase right out. And winds across eastern Vancouver Island could reach 100 kilometers an hour as well, due to those winds gusting southeast very strong towards low pressure. Now, let's take another look at a different one. This one is a bit more, this one kind of overdoes wind sometimes, But this, I could call this the worst case scenario. If this were to happen, things would go downhill for sure. It shows ridiculous 110, 115 km/h gusts possible along eastern Vancouver Island. Ridiculous, absolutely insane. 100 plus kilometers an hour coming right off into the Puget Sound, Whidbey Island, down to near Seattle too. Like that would be very, very big. There would be a lot of damage from that. But this is the worst case scenario, and I wouldn't be buying like 20 cartons of milk and like buying some sandbags. Like we'll be fine. But like, yeah, we got some big winds up here across western Vancouver Island too. Western Vancouver Island will get hit much harder than we will along the Metro Vancouver or even the Puget Sound area. There will be some localized mountain waves for some areas, which means kind of some downsloping winds, and like kind of a pressure gradient type thing. So we will have some strong localized gusts, maybe even up to Sunshine Coast too would be included in that. There's lots of sketchy terrain over there that would maybe enchant some microclimate winds. Now let's take a look at the atmospheric river potential that we have for Northern California and Southern Oregon. So if we kind of scroll out here, if we kind of look at the rain here, you can kind of see this thing moving in tonight. There's going to be some very heavy rain associated with this atmospheric river. Talking 10, 15 millimeters an hour at its peak, maybe 20 millimeters an hour in the facing slopes of the mountains. And you can see very heavy snow. Mount Shasta in California will get a lot of snow. Some of the higher peaks, the snow line is probably going to fluctuate between 1,500 and 2,500 meters, but this would 2,000 meters, sorry. So there would be a lot of snow in the highest regions there. And then you can obviously see eventually some warmer air gets in and just the peaks get the snow. But yeah, you can see that atmospheric river last all the way into later Friday, and then a frontal system moves in Sunday, which would also increase the rain totals. If we take a look at the precipitation total, you can see widespread 10 inches of rain. And let's keep in mind this is a low resolution model, so some of it could be leaking out into the lowlands, maybe more like 6 to 10 inches for the lowlands, but that also means the higher peaks could get more than a foot worth of precipitation. So this is just a big, big event right now. And let's take a look at the Euro. Yeah, you can really see this atmospheric river spread over the region. This one coming in later today, and then you can see this atmospheric river stall over the region. This would actually be worse for some. You can see this thing not leave until end of Friday, and then a frontal system behind it right there. This would be something for Southern California too. Some rain down there. Interesting signal. But if we look at the total precipitation, let's do this here. We're going to take a look at that. 15 inches showing up to 15 inches. Widespread blues there indicate areas of 10 or more inches of precipitation. That would be landslide heaven or landslide chaos, like lots of rain, flash flooding possible, So that is a very developing situation. You can see a bit of rain trending towards hitting South California later in a few days, so hopefully that happens. But yeah, big atmospheric river coming soon. I don't know. Okay, now I just want to take a look at things. I know some people want to know, what are we getting after this cyclone? Yeah, you can see right here that big cyclone right there, bombogenesis occurs, and then it weakens. It kind of sits offshore for a while. It'll bring us some unsteady weather. Some more rain systems will be apparent from that. And then this ridge in Alaska, it might try to push some Arctic air down south. But you can see this polar lobe kind of switching south. And then this is the problem. We get this positive PNA developing over us Right now, it looks like that's going to happen. We're going to have some colder air in BC from that ridge, that Arctic high. So what I'm saying is we're going to have some colder air to work with, but it won't be ideal for snowstorms or Arctic blasts. It's going to be like a colder, positive PNA pattern for at least a few days, maybe a week at least. So what does that mean? Fog, frost, and such. And you can see this poor lobe trending to be eastern or central Canada. Someone east of the Rockies is going to get some nice Arctic air and maybe even a snowstorm somewhere around the central or eastern United States is possible under a pattern like that. The problem is we do have that positive PNA looking to develop right now. This trough up near the Aleutians is a bit too strong. It's forcing the ridge east, and the polar lobe will be blocked to the west. It's already hard enough to get colder air east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies. So we need the perfect setup to happen. And right now, it doesn't look like it will. But fear not, it's end of November. We have a lot of potential this winter. Yeah. I'll take a look at one more thing here. 2-meter temperature anomalies. So if we kind of take a look at this, you can see some colder air that it has colder air cutting off in the low, and then you can see a warm seclusion zone. So this is more warmer air from the south kind of getting into the core of the system. And yeah, it's very interesting. You can see it will bring some warmer air, tropical air, and it will cut off some colder air. This is signature of a trough developing offshore. So kind of a negative PNA pattern. Then you can see the Arctic air kind of trying to settle south. You can see that heading south, but it can't make too much way down here, and it's probably going to go east right now as we speak. That looks like the pattern that's going to happen. Yeah, so we'll take European deterministic model just for fun. Warmer air aloft. What the frick? It's just a little bit of a glitch right there. I'm not sure what it's doing, but it's not letting us view this model right now. It should be. Yeah, you can see warmer air aloft, some colder air up in BC, and you can see some colder air does show it make its way south. The European model does not want us to look at this right now, but oh yeah, there we go. So you get that colder air, probably too much of a ridge for anything significant. Most of the Arctic air heads east, and that's that. We'll keep an eye on it. Things can change. It's not even winter yet, so any Arctic air potential, I will be on it, and I will be very active about that. Let's take a look at it one more time. So yeah, we got this bomb cyclone offshore. You can see that forming here, down here, as it goes rapid bombogenesis, which means it drops more than 24 millibars of pressure. And right now it's sitting around 970 millibars of pressure. So that's pretty deep, and it's going to continue to deepen today. And thankfully, it will stop coming to the coast as it reaches a few hundred kilometers off the shore of Vancouver Island. So we will be spared the worst impacts. If this thing was to make landfall, we'd be talking about millions of dollars in damages. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Follow me on BlueSky, ElijahBmanWeather, or WX, or West Coast WX24, or on X at ElijahBmanWeather, or West Coast WX22. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe.